Energy. It's what makes the world go round. Well, maybe not literally, but with the state of American society today, it's pretty safe to say that we couldn't live our everyday lives without it. Most of this energy comes from fossil fuels, and this dependency on various non-renewable resources can prove dangerous for a number of reasons. First, just as the name non-renewable suggests, this type of energy source will eventually run out, leading not only to a severe energy crisis, but a situation where an entire industry is lost, along with the jobs that had accompanied it. Reaching a point where all of the Earth's fossil fuel reserves have been tapped and we are unprepared to switch to another one is simply not an option. Second, and probably the most well-known, is the environmental degradation the use of fossil fuels causes. They are a major cause of habitat disruption and loss in biodiversity and the main source of climate disruption, problems that will have untold consequences if it continues. Third, the human health risks are too great. The burning of coal and petroleum leads to respiratory illnesses and damage to the nervous system due to mercury poisoning, and the extraction of natural gas, coal, and petroleum contaminates drinking water and is linked to harmful radiation that causes cancer. These very serious health effects are constantly brushed over to prioritize profits and quick, cheap energy sources. Instead, a new plan must be put into place, a plan that surrounds sustainable, clean energy. The most important part is the optimization of regions, where the climate and location of certain regions will be taken into account when deciding what primary source of renewable energy in that area will be. So in sunny regions, there will be an emphasis in solar power, windy regions focus on wind power, and bodies of water with currents will have hydropower. During the transition, it is imperative that the dependency on fossil fuels be completely phased out. Nuclear power can pick up the slack during the transitional years. However, it is important to remember that the use of nuclear energy is temporary because it's harmful and radioactive nuclear waste. The ultimate goal is to create a multifaceted energy portfolio that consists of many different types of clean and sustainable energies. As time goes on, new and different kinds of renewable energies resources can be developed and incorporated into this plan. But the key to get any of this to work is the will of the people, and by that I mean all the people, including the government, businesses, and ordinary citizens. The government should be at the forefront of making the United States a leader in sustainable energy because of its ability to create regulations, subsidies, and incentive programs for the rest of the country to follow. In terms of business, the government should implement subsidies that benefit and encourage the growth and consumption of renewable energy. Further regulations should be put into place to make it more difficult to use non-renewable energy sources, beginning with the inclusion of environmental costs in the prices of oil, coal, and natural gas. All the while, incentive programs should be providing tax breaks to those companies who make efforts and strides in the use of renewable energy. In terms of ordinary citizens, incentive programs should be put in place to provide tax breaks to those who invest in more energy-efficient lifestyles, such as utilizing energy-efficient windows, light bulbs, and the like. A drastic overhaul of our current energy plan is bound to meet opposition, but it is important to remember ourselves and emphasize publicly that switching to sustainable energy is not the type of short-term solutions we've become accustomed to today. Turning to renewable energy sources is a long-term solution. If done right, it won't last mere decades, but even centuries and even millennia. In using sustainable energy, we invest not only in our present, but in our futures.